Okay, so now we are recording. So everybody knows we are recording this just to keep it, for the future and things like that as well. So, all right. So as I was saying, to get licensed to get started in this business, the first thing to do is to get your license. All right. 60 hours of classroom education in Connecticut, 75 in New York. The big difference is that Connecticut education has to be taught live with an actual instructor. Whereas in New York, you can do it through kind of more typical web-based training where it's videos and slideshows, and you can kind of do it at your own pace. So while it's 75-hour class, you can kind of do it as quickly as you'd like. So that's kind of one of the big differences between the New York and Connecticut licensing. All right. From there, you then have to go on and take a test. All right. Once you've done that, it's just a matter of really, once you've done that in past, it's just a matter of really hiring a brokerage to join. And it really is just that simple. So you're going to take a test, you're going to pass your test, and then you're going to go out there, interview some brokerages, find the one that's the best fit for you, and get started. All right. Now, the second question that I get asked a lot is, well, what is it going to cost me to get started? And this is where most people get tripped up because they don't know what to expect from a cost standpoint. So I've had a lot of agents actually come to us. They've just passed their real estate test, right? And at no point were they told, well, okay, great. But here's what we need to do in order to really get you set up and started, right? And then they kind of get that deer in headlights look a little bit, and then they're like, oh wow, I didn't realize I was going to have all of these other out of pocket expenses, like and then we kind of come up with some strategies for them to do that. So because here's the thing is the amount of money it's going to take you to just get your license is only about half of what it's going to take you to actually get started. So let's go over what some of those costs look like. First is the courses, right? So depending on which courses you take, you're going to be looking at anywhere from $300 to $500. All right. Now in the state of Connecticut, once you've finished that course, you then have to apply to take the test, and the company that handles that charges $145 in fees between the application fee and the testing fee, just to take the tests themselves. All right. Once you've passed the test, you then have to apply for your real estate license. And that's going to cost you another $305 in the state of Connecticut. Right. So as you can see, you're about, at a minimum, 750 to about $1,000. And you've just passed your exam. Now, to be a licensed agent, you then are going to have to join a brokerage, which means some brokerage fees. Now, those I don't include in this this total here because they do vary from brokerage to brokerage. All right. But in order to then really get started in the business, you're also going to have to join the MLS. Now, the MLS, the multiple listing service, is where all of the listings that are being brought to the market by other agents get put up. It's where you go to see, all the listings that are available. And that's also the MLS is also the governing body that which is where essentially your buyer agent commission gets presented by the listing agents, and where you get protected to get paid well. So it's actually kind of it's a really important factor in getting paid. So with that being said, it's an important expense, right? It's really hard to represent buyers or to represent sellers without any kind of access to the MLS. All right. Now, the second piece to that is, in order to be a member of the MLS, you have to be a member of a local board of realtors. And that's where things can get really expensive. That's actually your most expensive out-of-pocket cost in getting started in real estate. So right now, annual board dues can range anywhere from about $600 to $1,000, depending on which board you join. And that includes, that's going to include an annual fee, which they typically prorate depending on what time of year you join, and then also an initial application fee. So your initial upfront cost will be a little bit more expensive than your annual cost moving forward. But when you add it all up, you're looking at roughly $2,000 just to kind of get your license set up and to get the basic access to the MLS and the board. Really important to know, especially because that $1,000, that's going to come after you even get your license, right? Now, other things to consider, as I mentioned before, brokerage fees. Every brokerage is a little bit different. Some charge upfront MLS dues, some charge annual MLS dues, some charge transaction fees, some charge sign-on fees, or setup fees or marketing fees, tech fees. E&O insurance is another cost consideration. These are all fees that brokerages charge. So as you're interviewing brokerages, you're going to want to ask them, well, listen, what does your economic model look like? Right? And it's not just about splits and things like that. It's also, well, what fees do you have? How are they charged? Are they charged on a per transaction basis, on a monthly basis, annual basis? Are they charged as a percentage of the commission or the percentage of the sales price? What other fees are involved? Because every brokerage charges things a little bit differently, and it can get kind of confusing, especially those brokerages that have fees kind of tucked into every little corner of the transaction, because those things can add up really quickly. And the other really important thing that you want to consider is your marketing materials, your business. I like to say your business startup costs, right? Make no mistake, by getting your real estate license, you're starting your own business, and that's going to take a little effort, right? This isn't necessarily an easy thing to do. So you're going to want to have a little bit of a budget built in so that you can have some money to do some personalized marketing materials like brochures or flyers or postcards or online, to build out a website or get some branding and marketing work done for yourself, right? These are all things that you can consider. Now, have I seen agents get started and be highly successful not putting any kind of money into those things? Absolutely. Have I seen agents be highly successful by really focusing on their branding and their marketing and outlaying a good amount of money to get themselves started? Absolutely. It doesn't have to be one way or the other. It's just something that you'll have to think about from a strategic standpoint about how you want to operate, how you want to set yourself up, how you want to budget your expenses to kind of give yourself the best chance of success, right? Make sense? All right. Any questions around kind of the initial startup and the initial process or fees? Like I said before, feel free to unmute yourself, and I'll call on you from there. All right, no questions yet? Feeling good? Yes, no, maybe. Not a ton of people on video, so it's hard to kind of see your reactions here. All right, so we'll keep going. So the next question that people tend to ask is, what can I do to be successful in this business? And again, it's going to come down to everybody's a little bit different, right? Everybody has different life experiences, work experiences, different networks, personalities, behaviors. So what we like to say is there are some things though that you can do, and that's what we're going to spend the rest of this presentation on, right? The rest of this conversation on is something that you can do to be successful. The first is make sure to join a brokerage that has plenty of training opportunities for you, right? What you'll find is a lot of brokerages might have a startup training program or might have, everybody is going to tell you, any brokerage that you go to meet with is going to tell you that they have amazing training. Ask them what it looks like. Ask them to see a training calendar, right? Ask them, well, what are the topics that are taught? Who are they taught by? Right? Is it online? Is it in person? How often is training offered? Ask them questions around it, because I will tell you, every single brokerage you meet with is going to tell you that they have incredible training. That's just, they're salespeople, right? You're going to be meeting with salespeople. Of course, they're not going to tell you anything different, right? Get into some sort of mentoring or coaching program. Getting into training is one thing, but it tends to be theoretical, right? You're going to learn the processes, you're going to learn the things, the activities that you can do. But what it's going to come down to is once you actually go to implement those strategies, those activities, the things that that are going to help you be successful, you're going to want as you're doing it in real time, it's always really helpful to have some guidance, right? So find a brokerage that has, some sort of mentoring and coaching program, and then ask similar questions, as I mentioned before, right? Um, what does it look like? What does the program look like? Who are the people that are involved with it? What kind of system is it? Is it just kind of an ad hoc mentoring program where I just have somebody that I can ask questions to, or an established and systematic coaching program or mentorship program that's being followed, right? What's the curriculum behind it, so to speak, right? Um, and then finally, is there a cost to it? And if so, how is that cost allocated, or how is it accounted for? Do I pay, is there a contract involved, right? What happens if I don't want to continue in the program, or if I'm not finding success, what happens then, right? Again, ask some more questions around it. Questions will be your biggest helper in kind of moving through this process. All right. Third, join a brokerage with some brand recognition. I do believe that this is an agent business. Keller Williams, our perspective as a company is that this is an agent focused business, an agent centric business. People are going to choose to work with you because of your relationship with them. They're going to choose to work with you because of their confidence in your ability to get the job done. However, when you're just getting started, it could help, to have a brand that people already recognize. So getting started, have that brand behind you or that office behind you, can be helpful. All right. Fourth, this is a lot of what we're going to be talking about, today. Follow a proven set of models and systems. One of my favorite coaches, Tony Robbins, my favorite quote of his is that success leaves clues. And what that means is that there are people that have done this business before you, right? There are people that have been highly successful, and there are people that have been, highly successful at failing at this business as well. If you look at those people and if you study those successes and failures, you'll find some patterns. And by recognizing those patterns, you can create a set of models and systems for finding additional success, right? Success leaves clues. People have done this before. Learn from their experience, learn from their successes and their failures so that you don't have to go through all of that pain. You don't have to go through that roller coaster, right? And you can compress again, quoting Tony Robbins, right? You can compress decades into days. So we're going to talk about some of the models and systems that we've recognized in this industry that lead to success today as well. All right. Utilize the tools of the trade. This is a big piece of where your brokerage will come in handy as well. Brokerage, you want to join a brokerage because they're going to have support staff. They're going to have systems set up for you to help, run your business. They're going to have tools for you to use, technology for you to use, lock boxes, signs, marketing materials, and brochures. There's going to be a lot of things for you to utilize already. So learn them, ask about them. What do you provide for agents? How is it set up? What does it cost, right? Ask questions around those things. And then the last two things are really, really important. First, identify your personal strengths and focus on them. I said earlier that everybody's a little bit different. And why one person is successful isn't necessarily the same reason why somebody else will be successful, right? Just because you're really, really active on social media and somebody else isn't, doesn't mean that one person is going to be more successful than the other, right? There are a lot of ways to be successful in this business. Figure out your personal strengths, what you're good at, and then what you can do is work with your brokerage, work with us to help you figure out how to turn those into strengths for your business. And then as you do that, what you're going to do is you're going to identify what we call your one thing. And then the goal at that point is to just execute every day, every week, every year on your one thing. What is the one thing that you can do to be successful, right? What is the one thing that's going to make life easier? What is the one thing that's going to drive results for you and your business? And then execute on that every day. All right. So that's a question we ask all of the time. Anytime you're running into a challenge or a struggle, or anytime that you're looking to grow in a new direction. It's a great focusing question is, well, what's the one thing I could do to make everything else easier or unnecessary? Make sense? Any questions so far on this? This is a lot more fun for everybody if it's interactive. So if you have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself. This could be, hopefully, you'll find the content helpful, and yet at the same time, it's way more fun if we can interact, right? So, no questions so far. All right, I'm just going to keep moving then. All right, so I mentioned earlier the importance of modeling, right? Success leaves clues and so does failure. People have lived before us. At Keller Williams, we train on this. This is our model for training. We've looked at the most successful people in this business, and we've created the models for what they've done and what's led to their success. And we use that to then train all of our people, so that we're training our agents on what's led to success, not what we just feel is cool, or what's kind of in style for the moment, right? Let people go out and an interesting quote I heard is, pioneers take the arrows, right? You don't necessarily want to have to be out there blazing the trail, because there's a lot of, you can get beat up that way pretty easily. There are people that have done this business before. There are people that have kind of already blazed the trail. Look at what they've done and figure out how you can adopt it for yourself. All right. Now, this is a model that we've learned and that we teach highly. We call it the 3 L's of real estate. This is going to be the foundation for your business. And if you look at this model, it's a triangle, right? It's 3 things to focus on. But at the base of the triangle is the base of your business. It's leads, right? You can be the most knowledgeable real estate agent in the world, right? You can be the best marketer in the world. Except if you don't have any business, if you don't have anybody who wants to work with you, none of that's going to make any difference. So first and foremost, the first thing you need to do is develop leads. Who are the people that are going to want to work with me? Who are the people that, that want to sell their house? Who are the people that want to buy a house, right? The first thing you have to do is develop leads for your business. The second piece to this is listings. And the reason why listings is the second piece of the model is because listings are what we call a leverageable activity. If you were to take a listing and then market it properly, market that listing properly, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to pick up at least 1 or 2 additional pieces of business from that one listing. It's much harder to do that with buyers. The other piece to that, to listings, is that they tend to take less time to sell, especially in the market that we're in right now, right? An effectively marketed listing will take way fewer hours to sell than your average buyer client. If you think about the activities that go along with both of those types of transactions, buyers require an initial consultation, and then they're going to require showings. Well, showings take a lot of time. If you're averaging, say 20 to 30 minutes at every showing on the short end of that, to show, say, a single family house, and the average buyer is going out and looking at, say, 6 to 12 houses, that adds up to a lot of time. And then you still have to do all of the negotiating, the inspections, the appraisals, all of the things that kind of go along with a buyer transaction. Whereas on the listing side, typically you're going to be spending your time in a form of listing consultation, right? Or listing appointment. And then you're going to, once you've done that, you're going to have to do photography and marketing and things like that. But you're not necessarily, there's not really a ton more time other than like that goes into creating that listing and creating that sale. Yes, there's negotiating, but you have to do that on the buy side too. Negotiating inspections, same thing. Preparing, handling any kind of inspection items and things like that. Yes, but you have to do all of those things on the buyer side too. So typically, the average agent can carry at least 2 to 3 times as many listings every month than they can buyers, just from a sheer time standpoint. So it becomes a much more powerful business if you can do 2 to 3 times the amount of business by focusing on listings instead of buyers, you can obviously make a lot more money and run a much larger business. And then the third piece to this is leverage. And that's what we call, using systems like technology, having systems for how you do things, creating a way of doing things. We have a saying at Keller Williams: anything you have to do more than once should be written down, so that you don't have to recreate the wheel every time you go to do it, right? And that's how you create systems for doing things. And then the third piece to leverage is our people. At some point, we want to help you grow your business so large that you need to bring in other people to help. And that's when you really start to go from a career to a business. When you have other people that you're leveraging their time to continue growing your business. So this could include anything from administrative help on the back end of your business to help handle the paperwork and the transaction management and the marketing and communications. It could mean bringing on other agents to help with showings or in inspections, and to be boots on the ground. And these are all, we have systems for growing your business this way through the power of leverage. All right. So those are the 3 L's of real estate. They will be the foundation for your business. All right. Now, leads, it's the foundation of the foundation, right? So it's really important to kind of run through it. And the way this works is it's a very simple marketing process. It's a very simple sales process, right? The goal is to create leads, which you're then going to cultivate into appointments. All right. From those appointments, you're going to get people to agree to work with you. You're then going to put those deals into contract, which will then funnel down into closing. So some of the main lead sources that we know are the most viable lead sources are as follows. Your sphere of influence. First and foremost, your sphere of influence will be the greatest lead source you have, the greatest lead opportunity you have. These are your friends, your family. They could be coworkers, if you're currently working a job, or ex-coworkers if you're transitioning full-time into this business. They could be other community members, people that you know from church or community organizations, sports leagues, things like that. They could be friends of your children, friends of your parents, people that you know through the school system or around town. These are the people that know you, like you, and trust you. And if you can build those 3 things with people, you created what we call a sphere of influence, and that will be your most powerful tool for bringing in business and bringing in referrals. Now, other more active things of systems of lead generation are working with expired listings, for sale by owners, hosting open houses, door knocking, or geo farming. Right? It sounds kind of crazy in our area, but I have an agent who just is in an office just down the hall here, who went out door knocking. He had a small neighborhood that he had just taken a listing on in, and he went and he knocked on the neighbors' doors. He went old-fashioned door-to-door sales, and he knocked on 14 doors, and he set 4 appointments from people who were also thinking about selling their houses. It's kind of crazy to think about that something that simple could be successful, and yet it literally just happened 2 weeks ago. So it can be a really great strategy. Again, agent referrals, getting to know other agents from other areas that have people moving out of their area and into ours. This is highly productive right now with so many people moving out of New York. Network yourself with New York agents, pay them a referral fee to send you their clients. Great strategy for leads right now, especially coming out of New York City. And then finally, last but not least, social media. And what I mean by social media is I don't mean, just posting things on social media, because that's more sphere of influence marketing. What I mean by social media is actually advertising, right? Advertising on platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google, Google pay-per-click, all of these different social media strategies, TikTok, right? Snapchat, all of these platforms have the opportunity for you to pay to get your face and your name and your business in front of people who you can highly target. And we have systems in place that can help you do that at some of the lowest cost per leads in the industry. All right. So the 4 C's of prospecting, right? If the entire goal of your business is to get leads, you want to look to capture people's information, right? Connect with them. And then either if they're ready, willing, and able buyers or sellers, move them to a closing, or cultivate them through some long-term or short-term, maybe follow-up system that you utilize to keep in touch with them, to continue providing value to them, so that when they're eventually ready to buy or sell or invest in real estate, or they know of somebody who's ready to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, you're the person that they think of. All right, so what I'd like to do is talk a little bit about Keller Williams and how we approach this business and how we approach being a support system for our agents to be successful. So this slide is what we call our MVVBP. All right, it's our mission, our vision, our values, our beliefs, and our perspective. And this is really important because Keller Williams doesn't consider itself a real estate company. And first and foremost, we believe that we're an organization with a mission, and that mission is to build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. And as an organization with that mission, it means going above and beyond real estate. It's not just about real estate. Our mission as an organization is to be a support system for our people, right? It's about people first. And you can see that kind of permeate itself through everything else on this page, right? Our vision is to be the real estate company of choice for our agents and their customers. Our values are God, family, and then business, right? It's, life is about more than just work, right? There's a higher, I don't care what your beliefs are, what your religion is. It's not about religion. It's not about that. But, everybody kind of has their own faith, if you want to put it that way, right? Or their own, interpretation of a higher power. There's something at work here, right? And that could be God, it could be a religion, it could be something else, but it could also just be your belief in yourself. It could be your goals. It could be the vision that you have for you and your family, right? Or the life that you want to live. It's really about believing in doing something bigger with yourself, right? Doing something bigger for yourself. And that's why we prioritize that, and then family before business. Because if you prioritize things in a different way, you'll get a much, much different result. Now our belief system also, right? This is really, really important to us. And this has actually changed. I just realized I have to change this slide because our belief system has changed. We've added a new item to our belief system in just the past year. But I'll add it in, myself as we walk through this. But, the first piece of this is win-win or no deal. This is really, really important to us. We believe that this is an agent-centric business, right? Our job as a brokerage is to support you as the agent. So we believe that in everything that we do, we have to come up with a solution where you as the agent and us as the brokerage and our clients win. Sometimes this is a win-win-win-win, right? Anytime that there's a conflict, we fall back on this belief system to figure out a path forward. Anytime that we have to make a decision, we count on this belief system to carry us forward. It's really, really important, right? So win-win or no deal. Integrity, do the right thing. Customers always come first. To have commitment in all things. In communication, seek first to understand. Hugely, hugely important. Too much, especially nowadays in our social media culture and with how much divisiveness in the world there is in the world, we find it's really, really important in order to have effective communication to first seek to understand, right? Seek first to understand. Ask questions. A great kind of philosophy that I've been learning and practicing and is to ask yourself, is my perspective on this really true, or is this something, or could it not be true? Could it be something else, right? I deal with agents who are, in this role, I help our agents every day. And one of the things that I remind people of a lot is that, right? Is that true, right? Is what we're thinking or what we're believing really true, or could it be something else? And the only way to really know that and to kind of communicate on a high level is to dig into it a little bit more. Is is to make sure that we're seeking first to understand what the other people in our world are saying, how they're acting, make sure that we understand the motives behind their behaviors, not just the results of them, right? Creativity, ideas before results, teamwork. This is huge at Keller Williams. We believe that together everyone achieves more. And we've built an entire framework to our organization to support that as well. Trust begins with honesty. If we can't be honest with each other, how can we expect to trust each other? Now, the addition we made this year as well is equity, opportunities for all. It has become very apparent that not just in our industry, but but as a whole, but even on the local level, that there is a level of inequity, not just in this business, but in the real estate industry itself, that exists. And we felt after everything that's kind of happened this year that it wasn't something that we could just talk about. It was something that we had to ingrain in our beliefs, and we had, in order to really kind of identify and stamp out those inequities. So we've added that to our belief system this year, just recently. And it's something that as an organization, we've took a big stance on and have put a ton of effort behind as well. And then finally, success results through people. The greatest success you'll ever feel in your life is when you can help somebody else accomplish something, and then get a sense of accomplishment through that as well. Being able to grow a business bigger than just yourself will be one of the greatest accomplishments of your life, I promise you. And then finally, our perspective. We believe that we're a technology company that provides the real estate platform that our agents, buyers, and sellers prefer. We believe that Keller Williams thinks like a top producer, acts like a trainer consultant, and focuses all of its activities on service, productivity, and profitability. Our goal is to make you more productive and more profitable. And we do that through the services we provide. We do that through the technology we provide. And we do that through the training and consulting that we provide. All right. I'm just going to keep on moving here. And I guess we can save questions for the end. All right. So our wealth building, so I mentioned before that teamwork is really important to us, right? So we've built a culture with a focus on wealth building and teamwork, because we believe that how high we go will be determined by how high we can lift our people. So what does that mean? It means that we open our books. So at Keller Williams, there's no secrets. Our costs, our economic model are completely open for anybody to review, because we believe that we are in business together. That our relationship with our agents is a relationship of partnership. So not only do we open our books, but we then allow our agents to participate in the profitability of the market center through our profit sharing program. We're the only company with a local, regional, national associate leadership council. This is a council of agents within the market centers, within our regions and on the international level, that take an active role in the running of our offices. They take an active role in the budget process. They work alongside of our leadership to help make decisions that are going to affect not just the financial future, but the culture of the office. That's going to affect the processes of the office. And then, and we believe that that's really hard. That's really important, because again, we believe that this is a partnership. When you choose to be in business with us, we want you to act like a partner. We want you to behave like a partner, and we want to behave in that same manner, which is why we've set up our profit sharing program, which is why we've set up our associate leadership council, right? Our ALC is literally the heartbeat of the market center. They're involved and invested in every decision that affects our agents. So I mentioned profit sharing before. Keller Williams Market Centers, including our own, share just under 50% of all of the profits of the offices that you're a part of. From its conception, we've shared over $1.6 billion in profits back with our associates. Last year, our offices just here locally shared back with our local agents over $1 million in profits. And every agent has the opportunity to participate in those profits and in that profit sharing. All right. We support our agents, as I mentioned before. Our perspective is as a trainer consultant. So we've created world-class training. We are the only real estate company to be recognized by Training Magazine, which is a international source of professional development for training companies. We're the only real estate company that's been recognized as the #1 training company. All right. And we were at the top of that list in that #1 spot from 2015 to 2018. And so in 2018, they inducted us into the Hall of Fame. And they said, okay, you guys are in the Hall of Fame. You've been doing it for 3 years running. Therefore, we're going to take you off the list. So you can't win the award anymore. So we can give other people a chance, and we're going to put you in the Hall of Fame instead. So we're the only real estate company to be that's ever been at the top of that list. And we're the only real estate company in the Training Magazine's Hall of Fame. And it's because we take an approach to training that includes consistency, where we have consistent training opportunities every single day on a local as well as on an online basis. And that training is based on principles that were learned from studying and modeling the behaviors of our most successful agents and leaders. So because our agents are constantly learning from each other, we're constantly improving our training. And because our agents are focused on teamwork, our agents are constantly sharing new ideas with each other. Our agents are constantly learning from each other. And it creates a really, really strong dynamic of learning and improving and growing together. First piece of our perspective is that we're a technology company. We are the brand that stands behind our agents, though, not in front of them. That's a really, really distinct difference. We believe that this is an agent business. So our technology is set up in a way for you to run your business the way you want to run it, right? It allows you to brand yourself first. It allows you to set up the system to work the way you want it to, so that you can take all of the tools that we provide, use what you want, not use what you don't want, and create the business that you want to create. So what does that look like? There's kind of 3 pieces to it. The first is our KW consumer experience. That is our Keller Williams mobile app, our Keller Williams website. Each of those can be completely customized and branded to you as an agent, so that when you're working with your clients, you can send them your mobile app, and when it comes up, it looks like it's your app, not a Keller Williams app. All right. It's not, you can customize it to create workflows for your clients, so that they know what to expect. You can communicate to them through it. Every single person has their own version of it, and it's all branded to you. Now, next, Command and Kelly. KW Command is the industry's first AI-driven tech platform to help you run your business. It's the industry's first all-in-one tech suite that's completely cloud-based and AI-driven. So it includes everything from a kind of typical but smarter CRM system that keeps all of your data in one place, so that you don't have to continually enter your client's information or the property information into multiple pieces of technology. All right. You have a marketing suite that has professionally made design templates that are super easy to learn to modify, that you can pull information straight from the MLS onto. So when you put up a new listing, you go into create your designs, the templates are already there. all you have to do is search for the listing from the MLS and pull the photos right into it, pull the address right into it, and it's all seamless and easy to use. There's smart marketing and automation, so that you can run automated email, text message, Facebook and social media posts, and automate those things. Our ad platform that allows you to run direct mail campaigns and social media campaigns for paid advertising, where our agents are driving leads for less than $2 a lead. It's the least expensive online lead you can buy, and it's only available to our agents because of our AI-driven technology. All right. And then the last piece of our tech is our web-based on-demand education, which is through a site called KW Connect. This is about 40 to 50 hours of training offered every single month by some of the top agents and top coaches in the business. And it's all there at your fingertips to access anytime you want. It's also a platform that allows you to connect to agents from anywhere in the world, to build that referral network I mentioned before. And there's nothing else like it at any other brokerage or in any other, really anybody anywhere else in this industry. You'd have to go out and kind of hire your own education and coaching company in order to kind of get anything close to what is offered there. All right, so that is what I have from an information standpoint. So my contact information is right here. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out anytime. What I would love is if anybody has any questions, now would be a great time to raise your hand. You can either raise your hand on Zoom or you can unmute yourself. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. I know I kind of rushed through some things because I wanted to try to keep it to an hour for all of you. And I also wanted to give you plenty of time to ask questions. Any questions? None.
Hi, this is Kelly. I have a quick question.
Sure. Hi, Kelly.
A class that you recommend taking the training with?
Yeah, so I'll be honest. I teach for a company, and I believe that they are the most kind of entertaining and active and easiest to use. That's Real Estate University. If you go to realestateuniversity.com, they offer both Zoom-based training online. Right now they're not offering in-person training just because it's difficult to do with the state regulations. But they're offering web-based training. They have two options every single day, a morning class and an evening class. So in case you work full time, you can still do it. And they work on a rolling admission. So you can start anytime. You don't have to wait for the class to kind of start, again. Most other schools with online trainings have like start and end dates and then breaks in between. So like if you started right now, you might get to the end of their section and then have to wait for the next one to start until you move forward, or you might have to just wait for the next session to start. So that can kind of put you off. Whereas Real Estate University works off of a rolling enrollment. So the schedule never changes. So you can start anywhere within the schedule and then just roll into the next section, and it's seamless because it's nonstop. It's just and I think they offer 3 days a week. So you can get about 12 hours of training every week.
Okay, that's good to know. And then a follow-up to that is when you sign up to take what is it, like the state exam, is there usually a wait on that? Is it good to sign up ahead?
Yeah, so the process for that, we didn't really get into that in too much details, but the way the process works is once you've taken your classes, you're going to take a test to complete the course, and you're going to pass that test and you're going to get a certificate. What you then have to do is you have to mail those certificates in. And then once they're reviewed and approved, you'll get something mailed back to you saying you're eligible to sign up for the exam.
Okay. All right. That's good.
You're going to send in your fee, your application fee and your testing fees. They're going to then approve you to take the exam. You're then going to, and then you get to sign up for the exam. Now, the bottlenecks that we're seeing right now is that the testing company has been taking a while to respond and approve those applications to take the
Okay.
exam. So that's, I've heard anywhere from like, it's supposed to be at max 5 days.
Mhm.
I've heard people saying anywhere from 2 weeks to 4 weeks to get a response. What I
Okay.
will tell you is if you like overnight it, right? Next day, like overnight mail, either FedEx, UPS, DHL, whatever you want to use for it. Don't use the US Postal Service because they're not getting it overnight. But if you
Okay.
FedEx or UPS it overnight, it's worth the 15, 20 bucks that it takes to do it because they're processing those much
Okay.
faster.
Okay. And then not to hog too much of your time. You mentioned that there's kind of a delay, like 2 to 4 weeks, or is the market sort of being flooded with agents because the market's pretty good
Yeah.
right now?
I mean, there are a lot of people getting into this business right now. That's part of the problem is COVID related still, right? Part of the problem is because yes, there are more agents getting into this business. There were over 400,000 people that got into the real estate business in this
Okay.
country in the fourth quarter of last year. Which is about like
Wow.
30% of the total agent population in the entire country. So 30% of the agents got into this business in the fourth quarter of last year. It's a
Wow.
pretty staggering number.
Yeah, it is. Okay, it's good information to know.
Yeah. Now, with that being said, here's what I'll tell you. I think there could not be a better time to get into this business, especially in this area. And I believe that for 2 reasons. The first is the industry is changing a lot right now. Technology is becoming hugely important in how you operate your business, how you communicate to clients. And there are a lot of agents that have been doing this for a long time. And many of those agents are not tech savvy, or they're
Mhm.
unwilling to change or unwilling to adopt new strategies.
I see.
And what's going to happen is over the next few years, technology just in the past year has played a massive role in how we conduct business. And it's created massive changes and shifts in how we conduct business. And so agents who have refused to shift with that are already seeing it affect their business. That's only going to become more and more
I
prevalent.
see.
And so the advantage you have as a new agent is you don't know any better, right? Right?
Yeah,
You
you
don't
just
have
jump in
any,
where it's at
you don't, yeah, you
presently.
don't have any old habits to get rid of, right?
Mhm.
You don't have any inhibitions about doing something a certain way because you've never done it before, right? So why not try
That's
it
true.
this way, right? So that's kind of the first reason is there's a lot of agents that are going to be getting out of this business either A, through retirement because of the baby boomer generation is a huge portion of the agent population, and they're all kind of at retirement age at this point. So there will be a lot of people getting out of this business, right? They're the largest generation other than millennials.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have a lot of people
Mhm.
getting out of this business and a lot more new people kind of coming in to replace them. And then the role technology is going to have a big effect on that as well. The second reason why it's a great time to get into this business is because, listen, there's an abundance of buyers. There's an abundance of market activity.
Yeah.
If you focus on the right activities, if you focus on the right strategies, you can find a ton of success in this market.
Okay, great.
Awesome.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Well, thanks for all the information.
No, of course, I'm happy to help. And if you want, put your contact information in the chat. I'm more than happy to share the slides so you can kind of get a good basis and answer any questions you have there. Part of what I love doing, which is why I teach this, which is why I do what I do in my market centers, which is why I,
Like cutting
teach
in and
real
out, so
estate
I'm not catching everything you're saying, but I got the gist of it.
All right, yeah. Put your information in the chat. I'd be more than happy to reach out to you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And be a resource moving forward. All right.
Okay, good. Thanks.
Thanks, Kelly. Any other questions? Anybody else have any questions? No other questions? Listen, there's no such thing as a stupid question. I'll try not to give you bad answers, but there's no such thing as a stupid question. All right. If nobody has any other questions, please feel free to put your contact information in the chat. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions privately. My contact information is right here on the screen, my cell phone, as well as my email. Feel free to reach out to me at any time. And I'm more than happy to answer any questions in private if you'd rather answer them that way. All right. All right. Thank you, everybody. I'll leave the chat open for in the Zoom open for a little bit longer in case you want to get your information in there. Okay. Have a great evening. Thank you for coming.